Hello, my friends. Hello. Here I am. It's Chat with Matt. I just had a moment again where I go, did I actually get the right group? Pretty sure I did. It's Chat with Matt. It's the 29th of April here in New Zealand. It's 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. Half an hour I've allotted to answer questions and requests, speak to requests, and shoot the breeze about whatever's going on in my day, in your day, in whatever's up, right? So, hey, Sister Kate from the UK. Yeah, I'm open to questions. I just had a quick look here, other than Donna asking if it's now, which it is. I don't think I have any pre-requested questions, so I am open to dance. I haven't really had a good look on Facebook yet. I just got on. Seems to be a little bit tardy in getting, not that I slept in, but meditated and then had things to do in the kitchen. We're into sort of winter territory now here in New Zealand, so my drink has sort of gone hot. So I've got my hot lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, honey drink. Oh, there's some salt in there. And there's some mineral salt as well. So there's a couple of different salts. There's just a bit of Himalayan rock salt sprinkled in, as well as some of that, what do they call it? CMD, CDM, whatever, colloidal mineral drops, CMD, I believe it is, just to keep a bit of extra minerals in my body. Especially when you have to drink filtered water. Because don't have a spring-fed stream running nearby that's unpolluted. That's why. Anywho, yeah, I'm a bit tight in the sinuses. That's why I'm opening them up with a bit of cayenne pepper and apple cider vinegar. My back that was hurting like anything this time last week is completely good. So I believe, touch wood, it's been fine the last 3 days. So that's interesting, right? With the new moon that came last week, 23rd for me here in New Zealand, my back just sort of, I just woke up and it was fine. which of course, you know, fits in with my belief that it's all just energy, and it was energy shifting, and the whole thing was about, you know, me releasing not good enough energies, which I mentioned last week on the call. Unsupported energies it was, well, not good enough, but that's the reason that I'm unsupported, because I'm not good enough. Why else wouldn't I be unsupported? But anyway, you know, deep old energies hidden in the field. With the new moon, that just cleared, even though the day before, which I believe is when I was on this call, hey Donna, it was almost excruciating, right? I couldn't get a saucepan out of the cupboard under the bench, right, without sort of having to work my way down into a kneeling position to reach in. I couldn't bend forward and reach out, which was quite annoying, and to a point, quote unquote, scary, because your mind starts running through diagnoses and then prognosis as, you know, perhaps I have damaged a disc, perhaps there is something serious going on in my back. All of that rubbish that creates stories and narratives that then, if we allow them to cement, become reality, right? But luckily for me, I managed to stay with the program and stay in the belief that it was all just energy, and then sure enough, it just shifted overnight. Hey, Brother Gary, how are you? Yeah, I haven't been camping lately. Yeah, I'm open to questions. Hit me up with something, my friends. Let me know what's going on for you and how I can better, what I might be able to shed some light on, what we might be able to talk to, what we might be able to riff on, what you might stimulate to come out of my mouth that I have no idea about yet. It's the fun of being a channel. You never know what you're going to say next, especially when you get in that mode, when you get flowing in it. It's basically what I live for. Well, I live for a few things, but it's certainly a big part of my joy to be in that. When I get in that mode, out of my mind and flowing in the energy, it's fun and it's exciting, and it's a glimpse of freedom, really. That's what it is, of being aligned with the energy and allowing it to flow through you, and not caught up in the mentality of trying to do life in a good, right, proper way and succeed and all of the rest of it that we get caught up in. Survival, right? Survival or thrival. Because a lot of us consider what others would consider thriving as merely surviving. Right? It's all a matter of perspective where you lie on that thing. For some of us, survival, in the countries that we live in, is pretty much taken care of. It's, you have to go out of your way to starve to death in our society, anyway, here in New Zealand. You really have to try hard. But of course, we all want to, have our own home and have nice things, and we call that survival, Yeah. Hit me up, my friends. Tell me something. Ask me something. More to the point, ask me something. What have we been talking about lately? I did a little edit of last week's chat with Matt and pulled out a 3-minute section of it around that little riff around awareness, acceptance, allowance, taking aligned action, moving into appreciation, and then sort of ending up with quote unquote success, self-love, whatever you want to call that space. It all starts with awareness and then moves through acceptance, right? As I said last week, which I quite liked, was, once you have awareness, then you have a whole new set of problems, right? Unfortunately, as your awareness grows, you realize just how interesting this whole place is, this whole world is, and how you are, for that matter, and how you interact with it. And as you become more and more aware, you start to see, oh my God, what's driving me? Can I pull the reins in on the emotional or mental beliefs that are running the show? Matt, would you agree that it is becoming fairly obvious that we can no longer trust the myriad of information given to... I'll try the see more button here. Yes, it worked today. Oh, they're coming in so thick and fast now, I can't keep up. The myriad of information that is given to us by the media. I think that is serving to force us to start thinking for ourselves and to look more rationally, which is an interesting word. Rationale key too, which you managed to do a typo on, so it's even more interesting, at what we choose to believe and take on board. Yes, I believe that is very, very true, Brother Gary. I believe now that most people on the planet have a fair idea that the media is untrustworthy, and they have a pretty good understanding that a lot of the stuff that comes through other feeds, social media, and etc., is also untrustworthy. I think people are becoming very aware that sources of information external to themselves, even books, which have been held in such high regard for so long on this planet, are not actually facts, right? They're people's opinion. They're all opinion. Even stuff that people have gone to rigorous trouble to scientifically prove is still just a theory, really, and it has a body of evidence behind it. And of course, as more people believe it, it becomes more cemented into the idea that it is factual. But we've seen many, many factual things over time be disproved or improved upon, at least, right? The knowledge keeps evolving as we know more and more, and we see that things that we once held very rigidly and dogmatically as true aren't. Right? Aren't. And I think it is, as you've pointed out just under this, that awareness is a double-edged sword. That this is becoming very much a part of our awakening, which is something I've been talking about all month with my internal group. that as we awaken to the idea that a lot of what we are being presented with is illusory, right? It's an illusion out there. And much of it is being manipulated specifically to keep the population under control via fear-based mechanisms, or in desire, which is also kind of fear, because it's the fear of lack, and that you must have this in order to be happy, right? It's desire is pretty much the fear of lack of happiness. That's what wanting, anyway. Desire. As always, words have all sorts of meanings. So we have heart-based soul desires, which is a great yearning to express ourselves, which is not based in lack. And then we have externally manufactured desires of the ego, desires of the emotional self, to have what we believe we need to be happy, right? We can't be happy until we have this. So it's a fear of, it's a lack mentality, that we can't be happy until we've achieved this, until we've got a degree, until we've, got a 58-inch television, or whatever the size is. I think it's more like 88 inch, isn't it? I don't know. We don't have one. But the point is, it's exciting. And a lot of people, though, the vast majority of the population, are quite overwhelmed with this idea that they can't trust information anymore, because most of them only have the idea that you make your choices based on information that you gather, as opposed to intuitively just knowing what to do. We're not taught that in school. The vast majority of the population doesn't understand that we do have ability to make great choices in a way that's different from collecting information and then making rational, which I think is a word you use, right? Rational choices, rational decisions based on analysis of data presented to us. Once we realize that the data being presented to us is being skewed and manipulated to suit the desires and the agendas of various authoritarian powers, or various power holders on this planet, then holy fuck, what do we do next, right? I no longer know how to make a rational decision. The mind is starting to freak out with this, with the problem of trying to decipher what information is trustworthy, right? What information can I trust? Oh, it's coming from the World Health Organization. I should be able to trust that. Oh, it's coming from the CDC. I should be able to trust that. It's coming from great Aunt Mabel. I should be able to trust that, right? Probably the third option's your best. But the problem is, great Aunt Mabel is also being, manipulated by these external forces that have always been at play, have been at play for the last several centuries anyway, quite, woven through, but it's becoming more and more obvious and more intense as they are struggling, right? The dark authoritarian powers are struggling to maintain some sort of hold on the population, because our vibration's rising. The planet's vibration is rising, and we are breaking out of mind control naturally. So the people who've used mind control to keep us in control for a long time are now going to greater and greater extent to try and manufacture that fear, right? And you could almost say that the play between the media organizations that are making it very obvious that the media is skewed is working for the dark organization still to create fear, right? So now it's farcical almost what the media is willing to do, and very, very easy to see through it. And I believe that in some way that is working to their benefit, to keep people worried that, well, I'm not getting good information. Anyway, I'll keep scrolling. Hopefully that helped. Donna wrote in, Matt, I live right by the ocean. I've been having in and off challenges, breathing in and off. On and off, I think it's supposed to be right. On and off challenges, breathing. I thought could be allergies, but come on. Right, I'm just going to have to open this here. Just bear with me. I don't know why my phone doesn't let me. I don't know if there's something wrong with my finger or something wrong with my phone. One of the two. But anyway, I can find it here. I'll get to all of that. I need to double click on this. Then I need to silence it. And then I can go over here and read. Right by the ocean, it could be allergies, but which I've not had much of. But I keep asking myself, am I in a way taking on some of the collective stuff around breathing? I've been doing the violet flame, adding supplement, but fluctuate, tired, then have energy, again tired, don't breathe well, then breathe well, so much fluctuation. Yes, perfect, great question, Donna. So this is very similar to what I had going on with my back as well. It comes and goes. It's very, very energetic, right? It's very, very energetic. So you could be taking on stuff from the collective and clearing it, but you could also be releasing. Sorry, now I've just got to block that out. I've got myself 15 seconds behind the same image of me. It's quite interesting. Anyway, but where was I going? You've got this. Yeah, it's fluctuating. It could be the collective that you're clearing through, but it may also be your own stuff, and lung stuff and breathing stuff can quite often be very deeply held grief. And a lot of that is coming up right now. A lot of us are grieving stuff that's having to fall away out of our field so that we can move forward into this more expansive freedom that's at our doorstep. I know, we're in lockdown. It seems like the opposite of expansive freedom, but that is part of the releasing process as well. So part of your contraction in your chest that you're having trouble breathing is actually the release of vibrations that have prevented you from breathing easily, energetically, your whole life and perhaps longer. So the point is not to get too caught up in trying to diagnose and prognose that maybe it's an allergy, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, because my bet is more than likely it's just energy. You could go to the doctor and they may well diagnose something because they're very good at doing that, right? If they've got a problem, they usually find something that they suspect might be the problem, and then they will have a prognosis, and then they will more worryingly, they'll have a treatment program, right, which usually involves some sort of drug therapy, which quite often just locks the condition in place rather than alleviate anything. My suggestion to you is to relax through the experience and to keep reminding yourself that you are, no matter how uncomfortable it is, and please, if it, you need to get to medical care, then go to medical care, right? I'm not saying that we should, die on the couch because we think it's just energy. That would be very, very foolish. But I know from my own experience and many of my clients that if you can stay out of the story of what it might be, could be, and all of the rest of it, and allow yourself to stay in the energy of this is just energy clearing, this is energy arising to release, then it can move through much more quickly, and it will probably go in a very easy way, right? You won't even know. So I wake up and go, oh, that's interesting. I haven't had that breathing thing for a couple of days, right? There was something else you asked there, I thought. Yeah, the fluctuation between the tired, right? So this is very common too. It's not, it's basically that we are all processing a lot of dense energies and it feels tired. I actually, for the very first time in many, many years, had to take myself to bed at 3 p.m. in the afternoon just 2 or 3 days ago. I can't remember exactly when, but I had done some sessions in the morning and I was here trying to do some work, and it was just like, holy shit, I've got to lie down. This is getting, this is not serving me to try and push through this and stay productive. So I'm quite careful about falling asleep in the afternoons, because I know generally if I have a sleep, at least in my history, in the afternoons, and I've awoken feeling pretty average and then don't have a very good chance of having a great sleep that night, which I like to do. I like to sleep at night because there's a lot of processing to do at that time. So I just lay there with my eyes closed for about 40 minutes and just drifted right on the edge of sleep. and then got up and was okay. But the point is that there is a lot of energy that feels like fatigue, a lot of energy that feels like tiredness arising in our fields as we are processing density. So please, please, please be an allowance of that. Be an allowance of that. Okay. It's true, Gary. Things are not what they seem, and they never have been. We're just being aware of more of the fact that everything, much of it is underhanded, much of it is multidimensional, much of it is good and bad, much of it is very hard to understand with our minds. Never had an issue, so it's interesting, makes me appreciate oxygen. Yeah, yeah. And it makes you appreciate freedom, right? Because this tightness in the chest is very oppressive. And a lot of what we are releasing right now is oppression. A lot of what we're stepping forward into is sovereignty, right? We're stepping into becoming sovereign beings. We're stepping into really owning ourselves as beings of light and allowing ourselves finally to express ourselves as that on the planet without so much fear of being persecuted, which we've had for millennia now on this planet. I got an announcement. I'm very excited. I'm going to be going on Ian Shelley's telesummit in 3 weeks' time. It'll be the 22nd here in New Zealand, the 21st of May over there in America. What's his one called? Something. Wisdom of the Ancients telesummit. I haven't done a telesummit for nearly 2 years, so that's exciting. He reached out to me after doing the thing with the global gathering thing that I did a couple of weeks ago, the free thing. And I'm doing I've got it written down here in case I forget. I'm doing a package which I'm pretty quickly putting together on stepping into your sovereignty, basically, as a being of light. Becoming sovereign as a being of light. There's some other words in there. There might be empowerment and a few other words in the title, of course. I had it written down. I have definitely got it on my computer because I was writing about it last night. But the interesting thing about me is that I don't remember what I'm doing. It's the interesting thing about being a channel. I can be typing it out and reading it and thinking, wow, that's fantastic. And it doesn't stick in my head, right? I used to be so mentally sharp as a mechanical engineer and whatnot in the day, and I used to pride myself on my mental acuity and sharpness and ability to remember and logic, and now my mind is just mush, which helps me do my other work a lot better. Anywho, hello, Sister Kelly. I'm running behind in the comments. I'm trying to catch up now. Yes, awesome, Gary, and that's the point, finding greater trust in my own innate intuition. It's interesting to observe how the response to the virus has been massive borrowing by all nations and increasing debt globally. My question, who is the lender? Well, you know that, Gary. It's the Rothschilds, right? And their consortium. Basically, is it something like 8 men own well over half of the world's wealth? So, and there's an interesting thing that happened back in, I think it was 1913, but I might have that wrong. It's somewhere around that, where this consortium of private bankers basically went to the US government and bribed them into passing a law where they were in charge of the federal bank. So now we have these people, basically a family and a few of their cohorts, in control of central banking. And they have this great system where they just get to write a number down on a piece of paper and say, that's how much money we're giving you, even though they don't have it, right? It's not backed by gold or anything. It's just a number that they concoct. And then they get to charge you interest on a number that they've just concocted. That's a great scam, isn't it? So that's basically how all world banking runs. Pretty much all countries, bar just a couple, New Zealand very much included. We can go and borrow money from this man who gets to write down a number, and then we as a nation get to pay him interest back on that money. That's how it's currently running. That might be in the process of disintegrating, right? Because it's not really backed in anything that makes sense. So that's who we owe currently. That's who the lender is, Brother Gary. And there's a much bigger story than that. That was the very, very, very much abridged version. Kelly wrote in, Matt, my energy the last days is so interesting. My lower back now killing me. Oh, that's interesting. Mine's just got better. I have tingling energy coming from my hands and feet. I can't sleep or eat. My body just thrashes and I have uncomfortable moaning. This is sounding better and better, isn't it? The energy is so intense, I can't even touch my something just, and feels like 9-volt battery. So strong I can't relax. Whew. Yeah, well, that's pretty full on, Kelly. I can't say I'm exactly going through that. I've gone through aspects of that. I definitely get the tingling and the jolting going on. Okay, so some things that you can try. One is to do some grounding meditation. I'm pretty sure you'll have one of mine called Here Now Grounded or something like that. I can send it to you if you can't find it easily. That's just going to help discharge some of that energy into the earth. You can help that process by getting your shoes off and standing on the earth, right? Getting out and getting your feet on the ground. You can also help yourself by drinking plenty of water and making sure you have a bit of salt in that water just to help energy move through your body more easily. Yeah. And if it doesn't clear in a day or so, reach out to me privately and we'll sort something out, Kelly. But yes, it's not beyond what I consider normal for Lightworks to go through such an experience, right? There is a lot of shift happening right now, and these energies are very, very potent for making big changes. Unfortunately, some of those big changes happening through the physicality are definitely not very comfortable. Definitely not very comfortable. Down the hatch, I've got quite a bit of chili in there. I've got very tight sinuses this morning, so I'm blowing them open with chili and apple cider vinegar and lemon juice and a bit of honey just to make it palatable. Okay, Brother Bret, I've struggled over the last 2 months. I don't feel much fear around COVID mentally or emotionally, but my body has been experiencing intense pain. I've stayed out of trying to explain this and wait for it to release and clear, but it doesn't change much. Yeah, Bret, you are just, as you know, you are very, very empathic, and you are just processing a lot of societal energy there. Yeah, all I can really suggest for you is to really invest time in getting very strong in your own energy. So breathing into your own solar plexus and allowing your light to shine out through you, to radiate out from the central core of you, to basically buffer you against the external world and to bathe you in your own confidence, in your own light, in your own source energy, so that you don't process so much of this fear through your physicality, because you're not here to suffer. Brother Gary's also had lower back pain, as have 3 other people I know. It's interesting. Yeah, so, lower back pain's all about support. And what's happening is, as the structures that we've relied on for so long, the authoritarian, rule-based structures of society, is obviously in disarray and crumbling. There's an aspect of us that feels scared about that. There's also an aspect of us that's very excited about that. But there's old energies in our field that are feeling unsupported right now, and they have to release, right? We're releasing a lot of unsupported energies, because the truth is we've been unsupported by these structures, and now we're choosing to step past them. We're having to step into our sovereignty, right? Which is what I was talking about, what I'm doing on this telesummit in a couple of weeks. Stepping into our sovereignty, which is about owning our own responsibility for ourselves and not relying on the support of structures, but relying on the support that's inherent to the innate divine being that we be, right? Feeling supported by God, as opposed to being supported by the authorities, right, and the structures and the healthcare system and the political system and all of that stuff, and even familiar relationships, right? We're moving out of codependency and into interdependency and collaborative community, right, where we can support, we're responsible for ourselves, but we come together to enhance the joy of sharing, right? Anyway, let's keep going. I'm still seem to be a little bit, I'm getting up there. I'm catching up. Sister M has joined us. You are welcome, Donna. Haley has joined us. Hello, Haley. Sorry, it's hard. This is Kelly. Sorry, it's hard to, I'm not quite sure. Type. It's hard to type. Yeah. Someone said. Okay, I'm still with you, Kelly. Yeah, and that's a great point, M. Thank you for that. So Kelly, also, as well as drinking water and getting out on the earth bare feet, is to maybe have like a good Epsom salt bath, or any sort of bath or showers. Lots. I found that I'm really choosing to shower at least twice a day, and even if it's just a quick one. If you are feeling quite overwhelmed, if you are feeling very lethargic, one of the best things you can do is just jump in the shower for a couple of minutes, especially if you're doing it with an intent to basically cleanse yourself of the energies that you are not enjoying, right? To just wash them away, to wash yourself clean. It can be a great help. I know, even if I've gone out and exercised and come back and had a shower, then right before I go to bed, I'll have another quick shower just to wash it all away before I lie down. I find I sleep much, much better if I've just had a quick shower before bed. Hey, Sister Vanessa. So that is, sorry, I'm so far behind on this thing. Hey, Sister Stacy as well. So yeah, salt baths, water in general is really, really beneficial. For Donna, get out and walk in the shallows. I love to do that, to walk down the beach just in a few inches of water or wherever it's comfortable. Is really, really grounding and really, really refreshing. Walking, breathing deep, even though you're having trouble with your breath, but just to breathe as deep as you feel that you can without having to force it, without having to put yourself into oxygen debt. And really just allowing yourself to enjoy the nature and the cleansing effect of the ocean. Very, very beneficial. Very beneficial. Sister Vanessa. What else, my friends? I've pretty much done it. That's it. God, half an hour goes quick, doesn't it? Well, that was Chat with Matt. Hopefully that helped. So what's the takeaways? Be an allowance of what you are experiencing right now. There's a lot of discordance energetically, and a lot of us are feeling it physically. So be an allowance of whatever physical symptomology is showing up in your world without going into the story that there's something drastically wrong. At the same time, my normal caveats there, if you do get intuitive knowing that you should go and see a medical professional, then please do so, right? But at the same time, don't just jump on that bandwagon straight off the bat thinking I'm feeling uncomfortable, therefore there's something broken in my body, therefore I need to go and get medical care, because that may not be the best thing to do right off the bat. Look after yourself, right? Invest time in your self-care. Get out in nature, get out in the fresh air, get out in the sunshine. Hey, Sister Jackie. And yeah, and spend time in your spiritual practices, meditation, listening to MP3s, doing deep breathing exercises, perhaps doing some movement, yoga, tai chi, qigong, calisthenics, jumping on a rebounder. Keep your body moving to keep stuff flushing through and to help the energy shift through the cells of the body, right? Stagnation is not great. So it's really important to spend time in stillness, but only certain amounts of time, right? In stillness, meditative time. Could be staring out the window, could just be staring at the ceiling, watching the flies from around, whatever. Spending time in stillness is really great, but also balancing out with spending time in movement. Choose not to spend too much time just sitting on the couch watching Netflix, right? Or the equivalent, because that sort of stagnation in the body's not very helpful. Yeah, gardening's great, Vanessa, because you get your hands in the dirt too. I was out doing some gardening and I was barefoot as well. And I was lucky enough that it was a warm-ish, still late autumn day that I could get my shirt off. So I had pulling weeds out from around the fruit trees. It was, yeah, and dancing. Dancing's a great way of getting that movement going. Not a great one for dancing, so I use my rebounder trampoline, but dancing is equally good, probably better actually. Yeah, I'm watching comedy. Or turn on the news and just laugh at that. Probably better to choose comedy that's supposed to be comedy. And then just see the humour and everything else as well. Okay, my friends, that's it for now. Trying to think if I have any other announcements. I'm going to be doing a light language thing on the 7th of May, so that's like in a week and a day or two. I think it's next Thursday or Friday. And 7th is my time, 7th, so that'll be the 6th for America. Yeah, so that's coming up, but I'll be doing a chat with Matt before then. Yeah, and I've got this seminar, what do we call it? Tele Summit coming up on the 21st, 22nd of May. That's hot off the press. I only talked to Ian yesterday and agreed to do it. So giddy up, Matt's got some work to do, producing some brand new spanking MP3s, which I already did one yesterday, and writing a program, which will be delivered live. So that's going to be fun. Okay, my friends, bye for now. Namaste. Much, much love. Bye.